Hello everyone and welcome to What's on My Desk. Today I have a few watches that came in that I want to show you guys. This isn't something that I set up or pick out specifically. There are at least 5 people responsible for buying pieces in my company, and the stuff ends up on my desk anyway. So while it's here, I figured I'd show you a few things, give you my opinion of what I think about these watches. Now this is not a nuts and bolts review on these watches. I'm not going to compare them, and I'm going to tell you much about their functionality because all this information is available online anyway. I'm just going to simply show you the pieces and tell you what I think about them. Today I got 5 pieces here. I want to talk about the Carbon AP Diver, the AMVOX2 from Jaeger-LeCoultre, the Roger Dubuis Pulsion Chronograph, Ulysse Nardin Skeleton Tourbillon, and last but not least, this bad boy, the 6104 Celestial from Patek Philippe. Now there's a few pieces here. I'm just going to start right from the top. First up is the Pulsion Chronograph from Roger Dubuis. Nice size piece, about 43 millimeters. What I personally love about this watch is the crystal that is also the bezel. If I turn the watch sideways, you can see that the crystal, you can see all the way through, even if you're holding the watch on its side. It also gives off a blue glare on the outside, giving it the illusion of a blue bezel because of what's underneath the crystal that covers the entire front of the watch. Watch is made out of titanium. The movement has always separated Roger Dubuis from everyone else. They make beautiful movements. 263 parts in this chronograph. It is an automatic. The last thing I'm going to say about Roger Dubuis is that the price tag is a little hefty, as it always has been. This thing retails for $39,500, which I think is a little much for a chronograph if you ask me. And Roger Dubuis has always been notorious for not holding its value really well. Going back to probably 2004, 2005, where a distributor for North and South America used to backdoor these pieces, and he used to sell them off to retail customers and other dealers at like 20 to 25 cents on a dollar. And that has followed them in the last 10 to 15 years. And unfortunately, a piece like this is only going to sell for the most half of its retail value, probably even less. Next up is what I think is a whole lot of bang for your dollar. The Ulysse Nardin Executive Tourbillon Skeleton. Now the executive model overall has been a popular model due to simply the way the watch looks. It's clean, it's sleek, and this tourbillon really takes it to the next level. It is a full skeleton. You can see right through the watch. And it's made out of titanium, so it's really lightweight. Let me show you the back of the watch. Beautiful movement. This watch only retails for $38,000. That's a lot of bang for your dollar. Deploying buckle. Nicely decorated carbon strap. And again, it's the skeleton that sells this watch for me. Look at this. This is just beautiful. Normally, you'll find this watch discount up to about 40% off online. Next up, I'm going to briefly talk about the Carbon Diver Offshore. Why briefly? There's really not much to say. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the various diver models that Audemars Piguet makes. Well, this is just another variation of the diver. Obviously, what makes this watch special is the fact that it's a carbon case and a ceramic bezel. Everyone says the ceramic bezel is supposed to be scratch-proof. I don't really know anyone that has actually tested that. I'm not going to be the guy to take this and scratch against the concrete. Of course, you're welcome to come buy this watch, throw it against the concrete and see what happens and let me know how that goes. One thing to mention about this watch is that AP didn't make very many of them. This piece retails for $27,500 and it still sells in the low 20s because of the scarcity of the watch. What I wish it did have is the exhibition back that the later diver models came out with, but this does not. This does have a closed back. But the overall look of the yellow against the black, the ceramic bezel against the carbon is pretty great, which explains why this watch is still popular and it's not that easy to find. So next up, we got the AMVOX2 chronograph. Now get this, in 2009, this watch was made to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Aston Martin's win of the 24-hour Le Mans endurance race. Did you even follow that? I mean, sometimes companies just run out of stuff to make limited editions for. When they came out with the Aston Martin line, the AMVOX line, they needed to produce more limited edition watches, and they were just looking for stuff to produce these watches for. Personally, I could care less for a 50th anniversary of a race that somebody won 50 years ago, back in 1949. But did I do the math right? No, 1959. But in either case, there is one cool feature about this watch, and all AMVOX watches for that matter, and that is its chronograph. You actually have to depress the crystal in order to get the chronograph going, and I'll show you a close-up. Unlike every other regular chronograph, you usually find buttons on the side for the chronograph next to the crown. Sometimes they're on the opposite side. The only thing you see on this piece is this locking mechanism. Now, it's in a lock position. Now, if I move it to the middle, that unlocks it. And then to work the chronograph, you simply depress at 12 o'clock. That gets the chronograph going. And then you press it again to stop it. And to reset it, you're actually going to hit it at 6 o'clock. It's a pretty cool feature, but a novelty that quickly kind of wore out. One thing to mention is these partnerships that these companies do with various car manufacturers. Bugatti, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Aston Martin. They all do these collaborations. However, they also kind of limit the market that they tend to. This is why they made 100 pieces, because these watches are really meant for those that own an Aston Martin. And it is pretty cool to have the car and the watch to match. I do like the overall look of the watch. The orange against the black is pretty cool. You see the inner workings of the watch through the dial on the bottom and the middle. Love the strap design and the convenience of a deploying buckle. So what's the retail price on the AMVOX? Watch usually sells anywhere from 30 to 35 off its original retail price tag. Last but not least, let's talk about the most expensive watch that's in this tray, the 6104 Patek Philippe. What is the difference between a 5102 and a 6104? You guessed it, it's the baguette bezel. It is an automatic, beautiful movement there. It does have a deploying buckle that's also matched up with the baguette cut diamonds, which makes the buckle just as impressive as the front. Other than that, it is a Celestial. So the only difference between a regular Celestial, the 5102 and a 6104, is about $120,000 in retail. So you're paying an extra $120,000 for a baguette bezel and a baguette buckle. To each his own. What's so special about the Celestial Sky? Well, it actually shows you the sky at night as you would see it from Geneva. Is that a functionality that's extremely useful? Do you live in the United States or in South America or in Hong Kong for that matter? Do you really need to see what the sky looks like in Geneva at night? Not particularly. However, is this watch complicated? Yes, it is super complicated, and hence the price. It's not the diamonds that make it expensive, obviously. It's the complication of the Celestial Sky. It shows you solar time, it shows you side rail time, it shows you lunar days and lunation. Now, if you're into astronomy, definitely the watch for you. If you're just a guy that wants to put $400,000 on your wrist, also a watch for you. The exact retail on this watch is $390,000. It trades at around the $300,000 mark. So that's it for this edition of What's on My Desk. Last thing I guess I could show you is what's on my wrist. The Audemars Piguet Offshore Tourbillon in platinum. That's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're already not subscribed to my channel, and stay tuned for more watch reviews and other videos.